This is the Night Owls Disc Golf Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm JP.
And I'm Ben.
And I'm looking at a fireplace on the TV because it lights my face up. Does it have a good glow? So I am currently in Vegas and prepping for LVC. Got 2 rounds in. So, and I found the best lighting I could and the best internet connection. And so I got 2 lights on behind me and a fireplace in front of me, a TV fireplace in front of me, but enjoying it. How have you guys been since I left?
Pretty good.
Sleepless.
Sleepless in Seattle? No, sleepless in Green Bay.
Sleepless in Green Bay. We missed you at putting league. I mean, how am I beside myself? You missed out. Kadonki got a La Lengua taco.
Oh, he did. Got a little tongue
Got
taco.
the tongue. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. JP, anything new or exciting?
Let's see what's new and exciting. I signed up for Ledgestone.
I did too.
That's new and exciting, and that's about it for excitement right now. It's snowing. Ben got a lot of snow down by him, but there's really not much going on. It's just blowing pretty good right now.
Okay. So my wife doesn't have to plow while I'm gone.
She shouldn't have to, hopefully.
Oh, I feel so bad if she does. But I guess, hey, teamwork makes the dream work. So while I'm out doing stuff that has nothing to do with our teamwork, she can take over my stuff. So, all right. So on a trip that we started on Monday, do you think a good omen, and this is a little bit of a tug to myself, of course, because I'm going to brag here. Is it a good omen to hit an ace in a practice round on a disc golf trip heading to LVC or a big tournament? Do you think it's a good omen or a bad omen?
I think it's a good omen. It means you maybe doing something right and favoring the disc golf gods. Right? It'd been nicer if you maybe hit it in your practice round actually at like one of the Vegas courses, but an ace is an ace. So there you go.
Yeah. What do you think, Ben?
It's a flip of the coin. I mean, it just depends on how superstitious are you. Are you superstitious or are you just a little stitious? Because if you're not superstitious, then you just say, hey, an ace is an ace, and hopefully that means for a good trip. But if you're pretty superstitious,
I wouldn't even call myself stitious.
Yeah, I don't worry about it then.
No, I hit it, but it was nice to call it though, because it was one of those that I was down 1 to Jordan, and I was like, we were playing high stand, and I was on 18, and I was down 1 to Jordan, so I had to get an ace to win. So I was like, all right, Jordan, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw it right over short basket, and then just let it fade in right in the chains, and we'll just call it quits. And as soon as I threw it, we lost Ben here a little bit.
Yeah.
But as soon as I threw it, it just beautifully hovered and just bam, just perfect chains. Like it didn't even like hang up. It just hit the chains, spun in the chains, and dropped in. And I was just like, yes. So I aced high stand, hole 18, and I was pretty happy about it. And it was nice to come to that. I did that one other time when I went to Am Nationals. On the way down, I aced at Brown Deer, and Am Nationals did not turn out very well at all for me. I think it was one of the lowest rated tournaments that I had in quite a long time, but it was still a fun experience. So I'm hoping it doesn't turn out that way this time. But just so you know, and this is just credence to my life motto, my credo, is you have to get a judge, because that's what it was with. And if you don't have a judge, you're wrong.
I have judges. I just don't like to throw them.
Well, it's okay to be wrong, JP. I mean, we all make mistakes. We all
I
are
just have
misguided.
them. I just have them.
That gives you a little leg up. It gives you a little leg up. So, yeah, 264 in the air, smashing chains. So, judges are good. Oh,
better than no ace.
Yeah, exactly. All right, boys, throwers, hangers, flippers. Did you get anything?
I did not get anything, but before you guys left, I turned in a bunch of discs into the shop to flip.
I saw those actually before I left.
And
I
I
walked
brought
in
him
and I
in.
was like, "There's JP."
Yep. And Jordan's like, I have no idea what I'm doing with these, so I'll just leave them for Caden when he comes in next week.
Great, great. Yeah, that'll work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the shop will be closed Friday since I'm not there, and it'll be open Saturday, Sundays these next 2 weeks. But yeah, so if anybody's around and wants to come in. So, what about you, Ben? Throw a hanger flipper?
Nothing. I am saving all said disc golf funds for Vegas.
It's a good choice.
Everything I've read, everything I've seen, everything everybody's told me is just said there's so much to look at, so much to see. You're not going to get through all of it, but there's a lot of good stuff to buy. So that's just kind of waiting.
Yeah, the every day, from the time you get here till the time you leave, basically every day is kind of a little bit of a letdown. I mean, there's stuff, but it's all Innova based, and that's not because it's Innova; it's a letdown. Let's let me be
Come
very
on, we
clear
know
Well,
your
about that.
history, Shane. We know your
Yeah, I know.
history.
But that's why it's just a bunch of duplicate stuff. Saturday, on the other hand, everybody brings out everything at that point, and it's wonderful. It's magnificent. But you should have a chance to get the Heimberg destroyers and the Firebirds, the LBC Firebirds. So yeah, it's always nice to come out here and have chances at getting some of those things. And you probably get some signatures if you talk nice and don't shake babies.
yeah. I'm not going to shake babies. Probably because no one's going to hand me a baby. But
Especially now.
Yeah.
especially now. I'm just trying to get something player related. I know it sounds sketchy, but probably hopefully find someone's van and just try and I don't know. Because all the players I see online are just like advertising, like, oh, if you want one of my bag patches or a signature whatever or a sweatshirt with my logo on it, come find me at any of the Pro Tour stops and you can just Venmo me. So like,
Yeah,
that's just kind of what I'm hoping for is just to maybe find some of the people I enjoy and see what they've got to offer.
well, I'll have to double check, but I think you will be parking in the same area that the pros park in because of the vendor. Um, so I think you'll be parking in the same area, and it is most 90% of the pros are all just so accessible, so fun, so easy. It's just you just got to read the body language.
Yeah.
I've never been an individual that kind of like we ran into Jackie Chan today at Lucky Disc Golf. He was in there. We all just like, "What's up, Jackie?" And then BS with him a little bit, and then off we went. It was just you see a lot of pros around here. And while we were at Sunset, I'm pretty sure we saw a couple pros kind of off in the distance, but everybody's just so accessible. So I'm sure we'll be seeing some stuff. The high level pros will be coming once the All Star event is over. So we'll probably see them Monday, Saturday, Sunday, somewhere around in there. But LBC is opening a little bit early this year, which is kind of cool. So we're going to start practice on Sunday. So I'm sure we're going to see the pros coming in here within the next couple of days. I purchased only one thing, and it was a Tesla. So not the car, the disc.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we bought a Tesla. Other than a bunch of beef jerky and peanuts for the drive, it was just the disc. So haven't thrown it yet. Still sitting in the back of that car. So, but it will be a thrower. So I think outside of that, do you want me to give a cap of our travels, or it's really just
tell us. I'm just really curious to see hear a little bit more about the warehouse and Jones Supreme.
Yeah. So we started traveling Monday. We got up about 6 o'clock, left Door County, and started headed south. We stopped in Madison and stopped at Glide Disc Golf Shop. Had a chat with Mike, and I lie, I bought a Supreme Trespass off of Mike. I just felt like anytime I go somewhere, I always try to find the local shop and just buy at least one thing. So the Trespasses were sitting there, and we were going. No, I didn't buy a Trespass. What did I buy? Anyways, I bought something from Mike and a Toro. I bought a Toro from Mike.
Good disc.
So I threw it once. I don't know yet, but I'll give it a couple.
Zone.
Oh, okay. Then there won't be much need for that up here because my up game is dominated by my judges. of course. But so we went to Mike's place, and then we played high stand. It was a beautiful course. Loved it. I'd never actually played high stand before, and loved it. I thought it was a great course, and if there wasn't kind of sheets of ice everywhere, it would have been a phenomenal course. Got out of there unscathed, didn't fall. Everything felt good. My arm felt good. And then we headed south, and I don't remember exactly where we stopped for the next course. We played another little open hole, 18 hole, or open course, 18 hole course on our way down to Emporia. So we just kind of booked it down, and we got about 2 hours outside of Emporia, and that's where we stopped, and we played disc golf and then got a motel. And then the next morning we woke up in Emporia, and we went straight to the DD factory, and I picked up the Supreme Trespasses, our order for the Supreme Trespasses, and then the Supreme Judges, the first runs, and then I think that was it. And then we got a factory tour, and it was kind of nice because you can't just show up and get a tour of the factory. But everybody was just awesome there. Both Jordan and I walked out of the DD factory and their headquarters, and was just blown away with how genuinely happy everybody seemed to be there. And I get it. I mean, they're working in the disc golf industry. It was awesome. So we went into the iconic area where, they landed the helicopter, and Ricky came in and started answering questions in front of the DD waterfall. And immediately they're like, "You guys want a beer?" So they brew their own beer. They have a little brewery in DD there, the DD headquarters. So they didn't have their own on tap for something happened with their taps, or they didn't have any kegged yet. But he gave Jordan a Voodoo Ranger, and then we got a tour of the little what do they call it? The little museum they have there. So every first run and every disc they've ever made, they put, which is really neat. Little timeline of history. And then they walked us in the back, and one of the first rooms they show us is the brewery, which is really neat. This little micro brew. There's only maybe 4 or 5, what do they call them? Distilling decanters or whatever they are.
Yeah,
fermenters. There it is. I knew Ben would chime in. They had like 3 or 4, and they're small. I mean, they're maybe 30-gallon fermenters, 20-gallon fermenters, something
barrels.
like that. There you go. See, look, Ben, thank you very much.
Used to work in the industry. I got you.
Yeah, so good. So, and he says, and Leslie, who gave us a tour, says, she goes, "I don't even know who brews them. I just come in, and there's a bunch of cans sitting there." The next day, it's like they're little brewing elves. They come in and they do their thing overnight, and then everything's ready to go. I don't know exactly how it works, but she just said she's never seen it before. They just do their thing at night. And then they came through and just showed us the factory. The factory is massive. And it was really kind of inspiring in my mind. And I know this is weird, but as a business owner, I'm looking at it and just looking at the scalability of what they did and where they moved from to where they are now. It was amazing. They made the right choice, and they're already at capacity at their 80,000 square foot place.
Their other factory was tiny. It's down the road, but it's like when Jordan and I were there for DDO, you did like a little drive-through thing, and it was literally, I don't know, like an eighth of the size of the new factory. It was crazy.
Right. Yeah, and it was 20,000 square feet, but the ceiling heights were, I think, 7 or 8 feet lower. So their pallet racking only went up 2, and now they can go up 3. So they not only have 80,000 square feet, but they also have the cubic feet of the staff. I mean, the place is packed. And the one thing that blew me away a little bit was they had one section of the factory that was all wholesale. They had another section of the factory where they moved all their online from the DD store over to the factory, over to the over to the headquarters. That was all for online. And it was probably about the size of our shop. It wasn't that big, but it was sectioned off just for that. And the discs they had in there were awesome. But to walk down these aisles and see these discs, a ton of discs, I mean, just beautiful. And I'm like looking at these things, and I just keep looking like at Leslie and like, can I just stick some of these? Like, just beautiful discs, So then you go through the doors, and there's a shipping and receiving where they keep all the bags and baskets and all that type of stuff, the larger products. And then you go through the door, and then there's a shipping and receiving. So they have all the orders ready to go lined up at their docks. And then just past that, they have an entire warehouse that's about the size of their old warehouse. It's just shipping and or just order pulling and product for Walmart, Amazon, like Dick's, like all their large retailers. The place is massive. Like, it is really cool to see. So then we kind of do a loop and come back through, and there's some other things. I see these little boxes that are labeled like new, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. So then they take you by the hot stamp, and then they let you hot stamp a disc. So I was able to hot stamp a disc. So if someone gets a hot stamp that's really messed up, it's probably the one I did. But so we went through the hot stamp, did the hot stamp, which was kind of neat. And then as we're doing there, Crispin, so hand-eye supply, he's back there doing his thing. Like, he's doing boxes, like he's got his music in, he's just like bebopping, and she's standing there like, oh, this is Crispin. If you know hand-eye supply, this is him. And all of a sudden he looks up and he goes, oh, what's up, guys? And he goes, hold on, don't go anywhere. And he like disappears, and he comes back like a handful of stickers and pins and like drops them in our hands of hand-eye supply. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. So then we walk through his little area where he's like packing up all the monthly subscription boxes. And then they kind of show us some things. So then the tour of the factory portion is done at that point. And then they take us up through where they have all the offices, like all the executive offices and everything. And they're like, this is this person, this is this person. And as I'm walking through, I'm like everybody that is the figurehead of, DD is all just sitting there, so I'm kind of fanboying a bit, like EMAC is sitting there, and then you go through and you got Danny and Anthony, and, you just see all these people that are all like, just all these people you see only through screen, and they're all just sitting there doing their thing. So, but it was really neat. You come back down, and I'll go back into the main lobby, and everybody's just like, man, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Like, just genuinely happy. So really, really enjoyed that. Then we moved on down the road and played Jones Supreme. To say that I am humbled in my disc golf game is an understatement. We started out the whole one, that island, the new island they hit. I didn't get a single one even over the creek. I was in the trees left and right. Now, it's a big gap. It's a fair gap. I don't get the criticism it gets. Jordan Parks it, of course, but I didn't even hit the gap, and then proceed to play 21 over on the round. So, but it was a true Kansas experience. Wind was whipping, and it was fairly cold. It had just rained basically all day. Like, we were thinking we weren't going to be able to play. And by the time we got out of the factory, it had stopped raining. We're like, let's go, let's do it. So we went and played Jones Supreme, but humbling, but a great course. It gets a lot of guff, but I think it gets a lot of guff because of wind. I mean, it is a really well-designed course. Like, it is a good course. So, I mean, it is a lot of Heiserfest because there's not a lot of trees, but it's a good course, a really good course. They utilize, EMAC uses the ponds and all the stuff that he can use to create disparity. He uses it very, very well. So, pretty happy with it. And then we got back in the car, and we didn't stop for the next 18 hours. We slept that night, but it was just basically 18 hours of driving. We got caught in a snowstorm up near Salt Lake, like between Gallup and Salt Lake, and an overturned truck that had like a chemical spill. I don't know if it was like a gas tank or a diesel tanker. It wasn't the train that flipped over in Oklahoma or wherever that is. Ohio, it's not that one. It's a different one, but they shut down 40 that we were on for about 2 days. So, yeah. So, but it was nice though. So then we just kind of booked it down here and got here really late last night, about 10:30, which is about 12:30, our time. So that was that. And we went out and played Sunset this morning, and then Red Ridge this afternoon. And then tomorrow we'll get up and probably go play Sunset again, and then play the Municipal Lit course tomorrow night. So yeah, that's it. So I'm excited to be here. It's decently warm, about 40, and sunny.
That's what it was here a couple days ago.
I know.
Not too different.
Yeah. So, But yeah, so that's my experience. So while I was gone, or while we were in the car, we came across a quick story or a quick text from somebody, and I think it was you, Ben, about Gannon, that you sent me a text.
Yes.
So
Well, obviously,
go ahead.
do you want me to go? Okay. Well, obviously, I mean, this isn't breaking news here, but we, uh, we all know that Gannon is left. And apparently Gannon is walking around the All-Star Village throwing a bag of discs without stamps on it and a duffel bag that is unmarked.
Right. So there were some rumors about him throwing a warbird. And fortunately, Josh is such a kind individual that he answered my text immediately. I texted him and said, "Hey, I don't think you're telling me the truth because Gannon is throwing." I was like, "Why wouldn't you tell me the truth? Gannon is throwing a warbird." And Josh almost immediately comes back and says, "Unless Terry is yeah, basically hiding a $200,000 contract from me, I can guarantee you he's not coming to Lone Star." So I think Gannon Burr is an ultimate troll right now, especially picking up that warbird and posting it on, and then ultimately getting rid of that story. I think he's trolling. I want your guys' speculation of where you think he's going. I have two thoughts. One I think is reasonable. One is my far off pitch.
I'm thinking it's going to be Discmania, only because they have a ton of money right now that they can throw at him. Even if he left or they bought out his contract, I don't think his contract was that much, so they still have a lot left after that initial buyout to do it.
Yeah.
And then Eagle also, mentioned they have aces up their sleeves, and that was on Nick and Matt's show a couple weeks ago.
Wasn't that his girlfriend?
Oh, that's the ace up the sleeve. Yeah. And so it's just kind of easy to make the kind of dot the lines, make the connection there.
Yep.
And I think, if they're gonna keep a Crush Boy thing going, that would be a really easy thing to do too.
Yeah, it would be easy to step into that role.
Yeah.
I think that is the most reasonable take. Here is my far-fetched take, where you might have to bend that line a couple times to get to this, but
yeah,
I think that there is a possibility that MVP is potentially picking him up. Now, here is my rationale behind that. I think disc sales for MVP have been so good that it's the Discraft effect, where Discraft didn't realize how much money that Paul was bringing into Discraft, and they didn't know what to do with it. So what they did is they turned around and gave it to Paul, right? They re-extended his contract, got it bigger for him. I think MVP is suffering that same thing right now. So maybe they didn't have the cap room before they brought in Simon. What's the idea of these hex and just the increase in all the wholesalers purchasing all that stuff, just fattening up their MVP Axiom and Streamline products, that now they have all this cash that they're like, all right, let's go out and get another young gun or a star. So
it's pretty wild.
It's far-fetched, but who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, like Ben was mentioning with the duffel bag full of mystery discs. It's not too far-fetched to think that maybe he wants to consider doing an open bag for a little while.
Right.
Who knows? Probably not. I got to imagine he's got something lined up, but I'm sure he's having fun testing whatever discs he wants, right? If he's doing that.
I would agree. And another one, and I believe Jordan told me this morning, and I was like, you know what? This could be it. So him and Drew Gibson are fairly close, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
why not take a short-term contract with Infinite, test as many discs as you want to test, and then figure out who you're going to pull your big contract from.
Sure.
I mean,
I
so
can
that's
see that.
another option. Once again, realistically, he's going to Discmania. I don't think there is a world where he doesn't go to Discmania, but I think those other two options are feasible. I think Infinite would be his number two, and I think number three potentially would be. What do you think of the idea of DD?
Ooh. They haven't really made many signings this year. I mean, they've re-signed who they can't think of her name. Macy Valadias, but other than that, people left. So they were saving money by having all those people leave. I can't imagine them not signing anybody.
Yeah. 1 minute. Ben, can you mute one of yours?
Yes, I keep getting kicked off. I'm trying to figure something out.
Okay. There you go.
All right.
All right, go ahead, JP. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think he'd be willing to listen. It would seem like they have a lot of money they could have saved with, Page Sue leaving and all the, I hate to say it, like most of the FPO that they have that left.
Right.
Maybe they made decent enough sales through Kona's discs or whatever that they also have an allotment of cash that they can throw at somebody.
Okay.
I have no idea, but it's possible.
Yeah.
I think Discraft's possible too. Like, but I would say no, but they seem to have a lot of money to throw at people as well. So it's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, I think the feasibility and possibility is there for any manufacturer, of course. Yeah. I mean, it still could be Lone Star. I mean, for the idea that Josh says Terry doesn't have enough money to pull in is from what I have been hearing is that Terry is or Lone Star as a company seems to have a pretty big coffers. I mean, they wouldn't have been able to make the splash that they're making without deep pockets.
Right.
So, maybe Josh is misleading us. Maybe Josh just doesn't trust Ben to not leak it. So by proxy, he doesn't trust me. So
too many loose ends.
Yeah, exactly. God, Ben, you're giving us a bad name.
Try not to.
The thing Drew said, about 2 months ago, he tweeted Gannon to Discraft.
To Discmania.
Discmania, sorry. Yeah.
It was like Simon to MVP, all the different moves, and he's like Gannon to Discmania. It was one of the last ones in that tweet.
Yep. So all roads point to Discmania, but it's fun to speculate on otherwise. So, go ahead.
Would we be saying Discmania if Drew hadn't picked it up, though? Hadn't made that tweet, do you think? I mean, they did sign Gavin Babcock, and I think Gavin and Gannon are fairly close, through the vlogs and everything. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's closer to the Robinsons and Alden, but I could see that, Gavin getting in his ear to talk about it. I don't know. But I know Gannon, I saw a picture of him the other day, hanging out with Ricky and some of these other people at the All-Star event. So who knows who it's going to be.
Yeah. I think disc golf is just so small that I think we're going to use this again. Wow, a little redundant, but by proxy, I don't know if you can gauge where they're going, by the groups they're hanging out with. Because especially even being at some of these events, you see them, everybody hangs out with everybody. There's nobody that doesn't hang out with anybody except for maybe, you don't really see Paul and Ricky chilling with each other. But outside of that, everybody just basically is happy-go-lucky with everybody else. I would have said yes to Discmania, just simply because the economics of it. It makes sense for Discmania, and they have a history of picking up young talent and grooming them. They have a surplus of capital at the present moment because of the contract buyout. The alleged contract buyout, but essentially the contract buyout. So I would assume that they need to make a big splash, and they want to make a big splash, and they want to pick up somebody that within the next 10 years is going to be their go-to guy. And you can put all your eggs in the basket of Eagle, but Eagle is a winged animal. That works, but both ways. Let me explain that. He's a wounded ant, like he's wounded. His shoulder is hurt. So being winged in that regard, he's an eagle. Wow, I won't use that word. So he is hurt. So to put your money on Eagle for them to be their guy for the next 10 years when he's playing hesitant and he has an injury, man, that's a lot, and they just got back with that with Simon, and Simon's still, everything's feeling good for him and everything, but they lost with Simon too, with him being out for that long, with Eagle being out for that long. So all the dots kind of connect in my mind that he's going to Discmania. I don't think there's no such thing as a secret in disc golf. So Ben, you got anything to add? You got it straightened out?
For context, just my computer just said your browser is no longer supporting recording, and it's Chrome, which is what our recording software asks you to use.
Yep.
And then I went back in, and it was like, this still is not recording, but you can use your phone now if you want, and presented a QR code. So here we are on my phone. So this will be a wild ride when I edit this, but but as far as Gannon goes, I think it's just Discmania. I think that all roads lead there. Cash flow positive, need somebody. He's the guy. He's built himself as a good off the course presence as well. So checks a lot of boxes.
Did you happen to hear my hot takes on MVP and Infinite?
A little bit. I was trying to come back in and get everything connected.
Okay. So basically I say that there's a potential that MVP could pick him up as well, simply because of the cash flush.
Yep.
Or Infinite, because he does have a good relationship with Drew. And Infinite, and it would be a good choice for him because he could throw really anything he wanted over the next year contract to wait for his large contract and figure out what disc he really likes and who he can push. Because in my humble opinion, if he did it that way, I didn't add this, but I'm going to add it now. I think he can name his contract and name his company. I don't know if he can truly name his contract, but I think he can name his company. I think he can walk up to any company and say, I want to be on your team, and they're going to make it happen.
I would say to length, but not to dollar amount.
Correct. Yeah, because there's only a certain amount of companies that can push the dollar amounts that we're assuming that he's going to get. With our last podcast, we talked about him potentially being the next $1 million disc golfer. So, yeah, I agree. So, I don't know. Anything else to add about Gannon?
I was going to say, since he left, that would put Prodigy as the biggest loser this year. Next to DD, I would say, in terms of players.
I think they're even on a whole nother plane. I mean, DD definitely didn't fare very well in this offseason. But Prodigy, not only did they not have anybody, let's not dismiss Kevin and Kale.
Right, but they re-signed. Alden re-signed Isaac or the Robinsons.
Right.
But that's What were you gonna say, Ben?
I'll discount Kevin. I like Kevin. I think Kevin's a good player, but he's just kind of been blah. Mm-hmm. He's just never made us this last year. He signed that big contract in the offseason, had a couple of signature discs that came out, and we just didn't see him. So I feel like they're just maintaining with Kevin, which is fine, but if Kevin's the horse of your company right now, then yes, then Prodigy is a loser because they didn't pick anybody up. They didn't sign anybody. They lost people, but didn't snag anybody to even fill any slot in their lineup.
Yep. And once Gannon left, I checked my bank account and I was like, well, it's getting closer to what I can afford, Prodigy. They're their market share is just dying right now.
So Will
But-
Schuster's going to have to come out of retirement for them to like make some money.
I don't even think he can save him at this point. I mean, they're not going to die as a company. I think disc golf is cyclical. I think we see that with everybody. I mean, Discraft was at a point where everybody thought they were a joke, and look at them now. We've had that with MVP. I mean, MVP was a novelty disc company for the first 6 or 7 years. They were, and I wouldn't even say that they weren't until Simon.
Holy shot.
Yeah, I don't know if it brought. I think it brought legitimacy to the envy, but I don't think it brought legitimacy to MVP. I think Simon signing with the MVP did. I think it was the combination of those two things. So,
even though Sarah Hokum won a world title with MVP prior.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sadly, I think that's just and this is no knock on anything. It's just reality. That's FPO. Like, I don't think FPO moves the dial, and especially when Sarah Hokum won, she didn't move the dial, unfortunately. And it's not Sarah Hokum not moving the dial. It's just the presence of FPO at that point. And it's getting better. I mean, every year it gets better and better and better. And I think we're moving in the right direction, but unfortunately not, all right. I don't know if I got much else to say about that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Time will tell.
Exactly.
I think we're really discounting Franklin discs.
Hey, you never know.
I'm a big Franklin guy. I mean, when you step up to the tee, you don't have to think about much.
Right. Well, we could do Lightning again. I mean, we could bring back Ching. I know there's a couple of companies we could try to start bringing back and see what happens. Vibram.
Yeah.
That they're all for naught, man. Their
Yeah.
return, I think their return was all for naught. Like, I understand that, this come at a premium, some do, but $50 for a putter, man. It's a lot.
Yeah, I think they probably had those molds sitting there, and they had a little surplus of a certain type of plastic, is what I'm assuming, and they're like, let's pump some out. Seems like disc golf's getting a little hot, and they missed the mark.
Yeah, should
They
have
missed
saved
the
it for
mark.
foot gloves.
Yep. I agree. Toe socks and toe shoes, or whatever those 5 fingers. They're 5 fingers, right?
5 fingers.
Yeah. No. All right, Ben. You said you had something else for us?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of taking a look ahead, we've got Vegas, or not Vegas, we got All-Stars this weekend. Just based on the lineups, who do you guys think? Who are you taking? Team Rick or Team Paul? On the MPO side. I did not get a chance to dive too deeply into FPO, but Team Rick or Team Paul?
I think on paper, I like Team Rick. I think once it gets down to the doubles and the singles, I don't know how that's going to shake out. But I think Paul's got some people on his side that could shake up doubles and singles.
Right.
Skills-wise, I think Rick's got a pretty good team. I didn't look. I forgot who exactly he has. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just going to be fun to watch anyway.
I'll go on the Paul train, and I think simply because the breakout of his team for the skills events are going to be. I mean, he got some really capable individuals for all 3 categories, of course, and then, like you said, the doubles and the singles. I think it's going to come down doubles and singles, and the way that they're grouping doubles and singles together is by their finish in the Pro Tour. So they're ranking in the Pro Tour at the end of the year. So it's going to be a heads up between Paul and Ricky. I honestly give the edge to Ricky, but that is the only one I give the edge to. So out of the other 6 matches for the singles, I think that's where Paul's team is going to come ahead. So,
Good deal.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to start watching it. Starts tomorrow, right? Or did it start today?
Starts tomorrow.
Great.
Yeah.
So Thursday. So Thursday what day? Thursday the 17th. So
I got the FPO. So it's Team Katrina and Team Own. Team Own has Ella Hansen and Rio Leva, Kat Murch and Holland Hanley, and Missy Gannon. So Own and Missy are doing putting. Accuracy is Kat Murch and Holland Hanley, and then Maria Leva and Ella Hansen are doing distance. And then Katrina has Jen Allen and Henna Blomroos doing distance.
And Henna is a bomber.
Yeah.
She throws so far. Well, Jenner Allen does too.
Yeah. Evelina and Sarah Holcomb for accuracy. And then Katrina and Alexis Mondahano, who took over Valerie's spot for putting.
Katrina put herself
Allen
in putting?
Yeah, she put herself in putting.
It's a bold strategy. And she got to pick last and pick her team.
She's not going to put Henna.
No.
The likelihood
Kat
of
and Henna should have putted.
Well, I mean, she's not going to put Evelina in putting either. Evelina's terrible at putting.
Well, that's what I was saying. So there's three, because then there's Jen Allen as well, who Jen Allen can get some yips, or she has had yips in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Boy.
Yeah, they're struggling. I mean, I guess maybe because she has had her issues, but when she's on, like untouchable. Not untouchable, but she's up there in the upper ranks. So hopefully she's just on. So maybe that is the best to obviously Own lights out. Or no, she didn't. Yeah, Own will be there, lights out. But Mondahano, she's good. I mean, was she like 70%? So that'll be good.
I would have thrown. What's up?
Go ahead.
Oh, I said instead of having Maria Oliva in the distance for Own's team, I think I would have put Holland. I think she throws a little bit further, but maybe Holland's even a little stronger than Maria in accuracy. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, sadly, I don't know Holland's game well enough. Because she's new to the scene. I know she's a bomber, and I know I think her weakest point is putting for the most part, but whose isn't?
Right.
Sadly. So, all right. You got the men's team as well, so we can go over those.
Oh, yeah. So here we go. We got this is Team Ricky, Simon and Kyle Klein for distance. Maddie O and James Conrad for accuracy, and Ricky and Gannon for putting. And then Paul's team is Kevin Jones and Heimberg for distance, Paul and Joel Freeman for accuracy, and Chris Dickerson and Isaac Robinson putting.
And then I got to go Team Ricky because,
Yeah.
My relationship with Joel Freeman.
Yeah. Kevin Jones in distance could be a amazing choice, or it could be an absolute flop. If there's any sort of wind that they're dealing with, Kevin Jones is going to be a non-factor in distance because he is a kind of an old school player. He uses fairly understable discs, and he plays the hyzer flip lines.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he gets his big distance. If there's any sort of wind, it kind of negates his distance. But I like his lineup. But the people he has where they are at, I think is the best, because you're not going to put KJ in in accuracy, nor will you put him in putting. I mean, I think he has a very good putt, but I don't think he's a top-notch putter. I think the two people he has in putting are the two best there. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see how it turns out. And actually, I guess you guys will know by the time this comes out. So hopefully it goes the way I think it is. Hearing the teams, Ricky, I think, has a higher profile team. It all depends on Paul. It all depends on how he can motivate his dudes, his guys. So, anything else?
No, I don't have anything else.
All right, Ben, you got something for us?
Random question?
Yes, sir.
All right. Pick a pill, red or blue pill.
It's my turn. I'll do blue.
Blue?
Yes.
All right. What is one discontinued snack or restaurant that you are bringing back if you had all the power in the world? And if you pick restaurant, I'd prefer it to be like a chain, not just like some local restaurant. So I like, because like that's really niche to you.
Snack or restaurant. There are two drinks I can think of that I wish they would bring back. And one is Crystal Clear Pepsi, and the other is the Coca-Cola coffee that they discontinued just this past November, and I'm super angry about it. But those aren't my choices. You got anything, JP?
Yeah, there's this chain restaurant called Tumbleweeds. I don't know if it's still around. It was kind of like a Tex-Mex place, and they had this bison steak that was pretty good that I liked getting there. And I knew a guy in Green Bay. They had one over by Home Depot on the east side for a while, and I think it turned into a Kia dealership, or the Kia dealership is right there. But yeah, unfortunately, with the way chain restaurants go, it just didn't. It competed with like Texas Roadhouse, Applebee's, that kind of situation, and it just didn't hold up.
There's they had a blooming onion or something similar to a blooming onion. Like, that was phenomenal. It was so good. So good. God, what restaurants have gone out that I really, really like?
Is there still Hardee's?
Hardee's okay. And Carl's Jr.
Carl's Jr., yeah.
We don't have them up there. They closed that one down.
That's the only reason I ask, because I'm like not that big of a deal up here.
And you said candy too, huh?
Yeah, it could be snack. Like for instance, mine that I bring back would be Kudos bars.
Oh, I forgot about those. Yeah.
What was a Kudos bar?
It was like kind of like a granola bar, but it was like with like a Rice Krispie and chocolate, and it had like candy pieces in it. It was really good. Used to get them in the new lunch pail going to school.
Mm-hmm.
So they still have Dots. I love Dots. But they used to have one called Wild Berry Dots. And they had a sour, like citric acid coating on them, like granules on them. My mouth was watering. That would be the one I would bring back. I used to eat those things by the buckets. I mean, those things were so awesome. That's probably what I'd bring back.
Do they still make Shock Tarts? Do you remember Shock Tarts?
Ooh, I've never heard of a Shock Tart.
They are now called Shockers. They turned them into chewy sweet tarts.
Okay, because they used to be like was it like chewy spree, but they were sour on the outside.
Yes.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah, they just rebranded, and I was like, what in the world? Because I used to love them too. And yeah, they rebranded. So
that's like Sprite rebranding to Starry. What's up with that?
No, Sierra Mist.
Oh, Sierra Mist. Okay, that's what it is.
It's not even a rebrand, friend. It's a new recipe.
Is it really? Ooh.
Are you allowed to talk about this, Ben?
I'm allowed to talk about it. It's a platinum release for Pepsi this year, so all hands on deck. Basically, it's the biggest thing in the world, or in Pepsi's world, but no Super Bowl ad for it, which is really surprising. I thought there would be.
I don't know how I heard about it, but I heard about it, so that's a good thing.
Probably through me.
Yeah, it could be.
Me or me, yeah. Because I was talking about menu planning, and I'm like, dang it, I need to know what's going on. Starry is good. It is. I don't drink enough white soda to know, but when I drank it, I'm like, tastes like Sprite. Tastes like 7-Up, or I think it's more akin to 7-Up than it is to Sprite, in my humble opinion.
So it's not as sweet,
right?
The sell sheet says it's a crispier, more refreshing flavor
than
its predecessor.
Okay. Oh, not to be named anymore, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to take this moment for
that
all
other
the
clear
listeners
soda.
out there. For all of the listeners out there, it is not Sahara Mist. It has never been Sahara Mist. There's no mist. There's no mist in the Sahara. The Sahara is a desert. That is
Okay.
all. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
And the rumor mill has it that a TikTok account is what kicked Sierra Mist from Sorry. A name of a TikTok account? Is that true? Is that why Pepsi got booted Sierra Mist out of their lineup?
No, I'll just see. Now I'm just telling people where I work now.
Yeah.
No, basically the goal is that PepsiCo and White Plains, New York, like their goal is to win in every category, and the lemon lime category is one that they have never been able to capture. Just Sprite is the king. It's just like with like sports drinks, like Pepsi's got that with Gatorade. Like Powerade is never gonna top Gatorade. Like it is what it is. But that lemon lime is just what they couldn't get, and Sierra Mist wasn't doing them any favors. I mean, it was a fine product. I mean, it lasted as long as it did. But if they're trying to go for it and trying to get close, they needed to kind of come with a new product that was very similar to the others.
See, why didn't they just talk to me? Because if they would just came out with a lemon lime crystal clear Pepsi, done.
It might be coming back in July.
Shut up. Are you serious? Crystal clear Pepsi's coming back?
Maybe. Might. I've seen it on some things. It's not in our forecasting, but what is coming out, Peeps Pepsi, coming to a retailer near you soon.
What? Who likes Peeps? And why would you, out of all candies in the world, you pick Peeps? Oh, man.
What's
Not
Pepsi's
me, man.
orange soda?
What's that?
It just depends. It just depends on where you are, but so traditionally before distributors signed on in deals with bottling companies, they would just pick up whatever. So regionally, it's very different, but it's usually either Sunkissed or Orange Crush. So in Green Bay, it's Sunkissed, but across the board with the rest of our company, it is Crush. For the guy I talked to today, they called it Crunch.
Oh, very nice. Like, I've always been a Fanta guy. I'm a big fan of Fanta. So, all right. So new to the shop, we got our MVP box today or yesterday. So we have the rest of our hexes, the axolotls, and then we'll get those up pretty soon. I'm assuming he will get them up Saturday when he's in the shop. Caden will. And then I have already put on the Supreme Trespasses. They're up and live. And then I think outside of that, maybe Glitches. I think Glitches might have been in the box with the hexes. So we should have some Glitches going up on the site. Other than that, just a reminder, remember, we will be at LVC. We will have a table, and the jerseys that we have are phenomenal. They are so good looking. I wore one today, and they're super comfortable. They're sublimated. They have all the right stuff in all the right areas. So we do have pink or yellow as an option. So we do have some if the ladies or the guys like pink, then we got some pink for you as well.
These are the new ones.
On the site. These are the new ones, yeah. And then we have all of our team jerseys, so you guys will be getting them pretty soon here. Once we get back, we'll send them all out. And then outside of that, there's not really that much else. So Lone Star, I got the shipment notification for Lone Star, and then Discmania, we have all the S-Line, PD, FD, and DD3s. Have those coming. And then I also bought some Simon Lizotte FDs. So with his logo on it. That was kind of the last of what was on there. So those should be coming in, and I got the shipment notification for those. So those will be going up on the site probably next weekend once they receive them. So be a big Lone Star fill up, and then those Discmania. So then outside of that, I don't have anything else other than I hope I do well. You can follow me on the disc golf scene. and watch the live play of the MP40 old guys. And hopefully you'll see my name up there at the top, or at least make the cut. That's my goal. Just make the cut, because I think I got to be in the top below 30. So I have to be in the 20s somewhere to make the cut. So
Ooh.
that'd be happy with that. I made the cut the very first year I played it, MP40 last year. So hopefully I make the cut this year again. We only played 2 courses this year, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's easy for practice.
It is. But the 2 courses we play, actually the 2 courses we play are good. The one course they took away that I played is a nemesis course. I hated that course. It was always the course that put me over. I was always like finish the tournament 2 or 3 over, and it was that course that always messed with me. So, so that course is out, and I don't have to deal with it. So I'm happy about it. So I'll find something else to complain about. All right, JP, you got to tell us.
I don't have anything to tell, really.
Why do you get so nervous?
Because it's a sensitive subject.
It shouldn't be sensitive.
Okay.
Isn't your wife friends with like a pedicurist? Is that a position?
Pedicures. Yeah, I guess. Hairstylist, I guess.
Do you have hairy knuckles on your toes?
Yeah.
JP, I wouldn't have to ask these questions if you had the OnlyFans up.
True.
Right?
I can't
Valid
believe
point.
that many people. Yeah. Really want to see my feet, I guess. This is
All right.
awkward.
It's never awkward. It's only awkward because you don't get the OnlyFans going.
All right.
Just saying. Just throwing it out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Door_disc_golf, night_owl_pod, YouTube channel, Door Disc Golf, and then doordisc.com, where you can get all of your disc golf needs. Anything else, boys, to add?
Sign up for Clash at the Creek. discgolfscene.com/gbclash.
Yeah. It's filling up well.
About 80 people.
Yeah. So it'll be full pretty soon. So if you want to play the first B tier in Green Bay, come on out. Just Disc Golf Scene Clash at the Creek, sponsored by Clash. And we're getting some good, Ben's been doing a fantastic job of getting some good sponsorships. So there's some things that are coming through. And then I am working, I'll tell you later, Ben. I'm working with a potentiality of another little swag item that all the players will get. So, but outside of that, I don't know, I guess keep it subpar and peace.